Hey, I'm Gareth from Park Cameras and Christmas is fast approaching, so let's run through 4 tips for shooting Christmas portraits. Alright, so there's a few different things that you can do when it comes to taking Christmassy portraits, but one of the first things we're going to talk about, one of the key things when taking any portrait, is lighting. How are you going to light your subject? What kind of look are you going for? Now, there's a few ways that you can light your subject, and don't worry if you don't have any lights, because one of the ways we're going to talk about is using natural light through a window. Now, this is quite a nice way of doing things because it kind of naturally diffuses the daylight coming through and gives you quite nice soft light, especially during winter when it's quite cloudy outside. That actually diffuses the sunlight itself, and then the window light kind of diffuses it further, and you end up with this nice soft light giving you these soft shadows on the face, which look really, really nice. So the way you would do that is just to set your subject up near to a window to get that side lighting coming in, and you can just start snapping away. Now, another option, especially because it's winter, it can get dark so much earlier. Sometimes it's difficult to actually even get enough daylight indoors to be able to shoot like that, is to use artificial lights. Now, I use a daylight lamp, which is diffused with a softbox, but you could use a sheet, you could use all kinds of things to diffuse that light, but as long as you soften it up, you're gonna get some, again, nice light on your subject with softer shadows, which is really nice. But you could use anything just to diffuse that light. A softbox works really well because it does just really properly diffuse that, but you could use something like a bed sheet or anything really just to soften it up and get the soft shadows on the face. Another massive advantage of using an artificial daylight lamp is that you're not restricted to shooting next to a window. You can take it anywhere you want to go, especially if it's not a plug-in one. If it's running on batteries, then you can shoot outdoors, you can shoot in the dark, you can shoot anywhere you like, but it does give you a bit more flexibility. You also are able to angle it in different ways, so you're able to play a little bit with the light and how it falls onto your subject. Now, tip number 2 is going to be all about framing your subject. So here I've used fairy lights to frame my subject. I can put them behind to create a nice bokeh behind the subject and get kind of a warm Christmassy feel. Also, I can hold them out in front of the camera myself and shoot through them, so they're still completely out of focus and the subject's in focus, but they just frame her really nicely and it creates this Christmassy feel. It's all nice and warm tones, and it just looks really, really nice. I was really happy with how that came out. Another option, like I said, is to use a Christmas tree to frame your subject. So whether you're shooting through the branches or whether you've got your subject with the tree, something that just frames them in the image is going to be really nice. Just add a bit of a dynamic to the picture rather than just having a straight portrait. Tip number 3 is to get creative with lighting. So it's Christmas, you want to have a warm feel to it, I would imagine, but you can use lots of different things to achieve that. So you can use the light from a fireplace, you can use the fairy lights themselves to create a glow, you can use Christmas tree lights, anything to create a nice Christmassy feel to the picture. So for example, here I had my subject hold the fairy lights underneath her face in her hand, and it created actually a glow up onto her face. So I had the artificial light shining onto her separately, and then the fairy lights underneath to give this golden glow. So it almost just felt a bit wonderful, a bit Christmassy, a bit magical. I was really happy with the results. And you can play around with different elements like that. You could use bulbs to get reflections and kind of bokeh in the background, and just play around with different elements until you find stuff that just looks a bit more magical and gives you that Christmas feeling in your portrait. And tip number 4 is to use a fast aperture lens. So if you can use a nice fast aperture lens, like here I was using the Sony 50mm f1.4, it just allows you to get really nice bokeh, get those out of focus elements, and that means that any lights you have out of focus are going to be nice, round, big bokeh lights, which look really, really good, especially in a portrait. You can get that thing where the front of the face is in focus, and as the hair gets further back, it just starts to go out of focus. That looks really great. I'm a big fan of that kind of look, and it just softens the image again to give you this really kind of nice soft look with a soft lighting. I'm just a really big fan of that, especially for Christmas style portraits where you're not going for that drama look. You might be going for more of a magical look to things. I think that looks really nice, and having a nice fast aperture like f1.4 really helps to achieve that. If you like the video, make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already. I'll see you in the next video, and as always, thanks for watching.